They told me that being the governor of Judea would be an easy opportunity. Quell some minor rebellions, assert Rome's power. My wife would be miserable for a while, but would soon be called back to Rome in greater splendor than before. I didn't know that the Hebrews would be having some sort of religious civil war with a beggar man. How is it that one man has all the highest of high in their courts running scared? This is an internal matter, I told Caiaphas, but he kept insisting. As far as I was concerned, the claims against this man Jesus were ridiculous and a waste of my time. What does Rome have to say? Well, the man said to give to Caesar what is Caesar's, so what complaint can I have? If he wants to surround himself with harlots and tax collectors, so be it. What does it have to do with me? But they want a judgment. I spoke to the man, if you can say that. He didn't really talk, just looked mournful. Basically gave me his blessing. But he did nothing wrong. I tried to release him, but even the crowd shouted that they would rather have a known murderer released than this beggar man. So I washed my hands of him, literally, and handed him over to their will. I didn't want him beaten and paraded through the streets to be crucified. I've heard all about the influx of people with their Passover, and I've had extra guards on duty around the clock. For them to make a huge scene in the streets like this and murder an innocent man, they're completely savage. There was an earthquake when he died, in a place where nothing like that had ever been felt. It was midday and lightning cracked, and everything turned pitch black. We had to send men to light extra lamps. People were screaming, running from the temple. Some curtain had been torn. Buildings cracked, tombs were opened. I don't know what power this man had, but surely he was no mortal man. May the blood spilt this day cover the Jews' heads, because I tried to free him. I had nothing to do with this.
Thank you, Pilate. Savage. They were savages? I would say that Jesus was the ultimate savage. To die for innocent people? Let's hear from someone who was very, very, very close to him. Someone that most knew that something had to change in his life, because he left everything to come and walk with Jesus for 3 years. Simon Peter, where are you? I want you to tell us about your experiences today.
I don't know him. You're mistaken. These words keep echoing through my mind over and over and over again. He told me he'd make me a fisherman. He changed my name to Peter, his rock, and I betrayed him. When we were in the upper room, we didn't know it was coming. We shared the Passover meal all together, and Jesus took the bread and broke it and said, "Do this in memory of him." He said the cup was his blood poured out in a covenant for the sins of all. If only I knew then, maybe I'd understand. I was in the garden with him. He trusted me, but I fell asleep. But it didn't matter. He wouldn't have run. I've seen Jesus cure the sick and make the blind see. The wind and the waves listen to him. We walked on the water. But he couldn't save himself. No, he could. He just chose not to. He chose to endure this. Jesus, my Jesus, betrayed by a brother, betrayed by me. He told me I'd deny him, and I swore to the Lord never, and I did. I left the city and hid, and I denied him 3 times. He said I was his rock, and I was a coward. He trusted me and I abandoned him. I couldn't even stay and see him. I was too scared. I was too selfish. And now he's gone. And for what? For selfishness and greed. We have a mission, but all I can do is cry and scream to our Father, why? You took the best of us and had him mocked. His flesh was hanging off of him. His blood was flowing down the streets. People spit on him and cursed him, and I couldn't even stay there. None of us could. None of us can. We have a huge target on our head now. Judas is dead, and we're next. We're next. We have to stay together somehow. We have to protect his mother. But how can we even protect ourselves? He's gone.
Just press out about 2018 years. You know, we're on this side of the cross now. We know about Peter. We know about the power of forgiveness. We know that Jesus would seek Peter out and make him think through the process again in his mind and in his spirit. And ask him not one time, not 2 times, but 3 different times, Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me, Peter? It's so easy to say, yeah, we're on this side of the cross. The truth behind the matter is all of us are just like Peter. We have times in our life where we have the perfect opportunity to say, yes, I'm one of his followers. Yeah, I know him. I know him well. He's at the center of my life. I know who he is. But so many times, just like Peter, we all have a tendency not to speak up, to be the rock that Peter was after he was reinstated. There was another guy. He had one of the neatest stories of all. He wasn't just like the others. They had spent time with Jesus. He was the guy that Jesus, the Bible would say, he was dead just a short time ago. Jesus' possibly best friend. Lazarus, where are you? Will you step forward tonight?
I knew him. I knew Jesus. You see, he was my friend, my brother. He was actually standing in my kitchen a few days ago, and we were eating and laughing. And he rode into Jerusalem, and people were waving palm branches before him. But see, the thing is, I was sick. And I knew that if I could see Jesus one last time, everything would be all right. You see, Jesus' faith and his works, they are mighty. In fact, there is no one like Jesus. And my sisters, they were trying everything they could. But when Jesus says, wait, all you can do is wait. You see, I began to agonize in those moments. I began to cry, and I began to scream, and then I gasped. And then at that moment, there's nothing. Just nothing. In fact, it's almost like you fell asleep. But you know, I heard Jesus' voice. It was almost like thunder. And I saw a bright light. And as I was on this stone, I stood up and I began to call and walk before him. And I said, Jesus, Jesus. But he's gone. He's just gone. You see, I told Jesus they would be the death of him. I told him he was causing too much trouble. I told Jesus that if he could change things a little slower and not cause too much fuss, everything would be all right. I told Jesus he would end up just like his cousin with his head on a platter. But does Jesus listen? When I think about it, does Jesus listen to anyone? You know, when he wandered off from his mother, he didn't listen then. He doesn't listen to any of us. In fact, Jesus, he listened to his own stubborn belief. And for what? You see, he brought me out of this grave so that I could experience a world all without him. See, Jesus, he was heartbroken at losing me. And he called me out of this grave so that I could experience this life without him. Why, Lord? Why did you bring me out of this grave so that I could stand here on this rock and be alone? Why did you leave me here with so much heartache? You see, Jesus, he's gone. All his work, all his love, it's all for nothing. Because he's broken, and he's bloody, and he's dead. When we needed you, Lord, you were gone. Father, why have you abandoned your people? Why have you abandoned your friend?
There were a lot of people in the city that day. They were from all over the place. There was this one guy. He was visiting from like way out in the country. They called him Simon. Simon of Cyrene. Question for him that I would like to know. What brought you to Jerusalem? Simon, what brought you to Jerusalem?
I wasn't even supposed to be in Jerusalem today. In fact, I specifically said no. I don't want to go. All those crowds of people in Jerusalem. But my father insisted. So since I was already there, I thought I would head over to the temple. But the all screaming, calling out, "He's coming! He's coming!" Who's coming? Then this criminal comes down the street carrying his cross. Stumbles right in front of me, falls down. I jump back, blood splattered all over my shoes. What a disgusting, vile criminal. They'd even pressed a crown of thorns down on his head. All those guards, they started whispering to each other. He struggled and tried to get up. One of them grabbed a hold of me. "You! Carry his cross!" "What? Me? You gotta be kidding me!" Sound of that whip cracking through the air told me they weren't kidding. So, picked up that cross. What was left of that bleeding, dirty man? His eyes were so sad, pleading. He never spoke a word. People began to spit on us. You could feel it hit me in the face. I walked that man right up that hill. Golgotha. Place of the skull. And they yanked that piece of wood off of my shoulders and shoved me back into the crowd. You know, something changed as I was walking. Bitterness and the anger of being equated to a common criminal began to leave me. I heard his screams, hammer, echoed through the hill. I watched, mesmerized, as they hoisted that man up into the air, gasping for breath. His whole body was trembling. And they nailed a sign up above his head that said, "King of the Jews." Then I heard a whole bunch of them start hollering, "Hey, save yourself!" Called out to some woman, I think it was his mother. I tried to turn away, I couldn't. My eyes were just fixed on him. Standing here covered in his blood. The sky began to turn black. And people started screaming from the city. Whole earth shook. And he shouted, "It is finished." His spirit left him there on that hill, hanging between two thieves. I'm covered in his blood! No. No! I watched that man be drawn and cornered like a lamb. It's not me that's covered in his blood. They are! They let them do this to him with their cries, "Barabbas! Barabbas!" Surely was an innocent man. Even the soldiers, one of them called out and said, "Surely this is the Son of God." Son of God. Son of God. I'm covered in his blood. So are you. So are you. So are you. We're all covered in his blood. We watched as an innocent man died today. We watched as the guards rolled dice for his clothes. We are covered in his blood. His blood's on all of us.
I really wanted to hear from one more person. I knew he could tell the story. He had known Jesus for so long. He was right there. He had so much responsibility on his shoulders. The gospel, Jesus' very own mother, they called him the beloved. John, where are you, John? I want to know where you were on the last day, John.
We all had tried to warn him, to protect him. He poured out his fears and his sorrows to me. I held that heart of the Master in my hands, and I could do nothing. When Pilate asked who he wanted, I had screamed my Lord's name, "Jesus! Jesus!" His mother beside me, "Release him! He's innocent." But our voices were drowned out by that mob. They would do that even. The Pharisees, they did this. And Judas was our brother. And he brought them to Jesus. They took him in chains. They gambled for his clothes. They forced a crown of thorns onto his head. They beat him, they mocked him for being the king of the Jews. They beat him over and over and over. He cried as the skin was tore off his back. Rocks and glass tied to leather as they ripped out his flesh, as it tore chips of bone from his very back. Everything in him was broken and bloody. He couldn't even see from the blood that flowed from him. He didn't even look human. Lord, my God, he carried his cross and he fell. And they beat him. He fell again and they beat him. They asked that man to carry the cross for him because they didn't think he would make it. All the while I walked with him. All the while his mother and me were there to see every step of that. There wasn't a step he took that I didn't see. He screamed as those nails were put into him, as they nailed him to that cross. Mary clung to me. If only I could protect her, if only my heart could shield her in some way. We stood at his feet as blood dripped off of him. Everyone else was gone. Peter, James, Thomas, they all had left. It was just us.
We stood at his feet when he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? We stood at his feet as blood dripped off of him and as he struggled for just a breath, just to breathe. Hung up like a common criminal in between two thieves. One of them continued to mock him even from the cross. The other, he told the other that they would be together in paradise. My heart was broken as I watched the blood of my master, my rabbi, my teacher, my friend, as it poured out of him. I cried as he told me to look after his mother like she were my own. And he told his mother to look at me as if I were her child. He screamed out, "It is finished! Into your hands I commit my spirit." If only he knew how his death would leave us all so broken. How much we still need him. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I've gathered with my brothers and I've taken his mother, no, my mother. My mother. We've gone someplace to hide, but she's weeping and crying, saying that he's not dead, that he'll live. Like, can you imagine? One of the priests gave her a tomb to bury him. She sat on the rock with his broken and bloody body draped over her. She's still covered in those blood. She refuses to even take off those clothes. And yet she says that he's going to live. He is in that tomb with a huge stone rolled in front of it, with guards standing by it. Like, he's there. He's dead. And here we are, the followers of the Son of God, and we're hiding like mice, broken, alone, afraid. What do we do now, Lord? What do we do?
It's our heart this evening that you would walk away from here somber. Maybe you've been asking your own self, what do we do now, Lord? What do we do? What do we do? We will celebrate the resurrection on Sunday. I was asking the Lord, how do we close this? How does it end? I just felt like the Lord said, He spoke to the children of Israel in Deuteronomy 6, and He said, "Hear, O Lord, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And these words I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be on the frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and your gates." For us, this evening, our heart is these 50,000 people in our region that without Jesus, they're not going to make it to heaven. Our heart for you tonight would be over and over again to explain the story. Don't quit telling the story. That was the command right here. They were telling a story of when God delivered them out of Egypt, we get to tell the story of when God delivered us out of our sin. We're going to celebrate it Sunday. Our heart would be for you to take a card tonight before you leave and invite. The gospel message will be here Sunday. Invite. We can't quit telling the story. It may have looked a little different than we told it tonight. We can't quit telling the story. I want to pray for us. Let's go ahead and stand up this evening. The team's going to play. If you would like to stand here for a moment and stay somber and worship for a few minutes, you can do that. A couple of our people from our prayer team will be full, or maybe you would like for someone to pray with you tonight. Just pray. That would be fine as well. But we just want you to know tonight, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for participating in one of the most different Good Friday services that we've ever done. And I've hesitated on this, but I can't not give this cast and the director a hand tonight. I want y'all to know that Elizabeth that's right here in our body, she wrote this for us this evening. She doesn't want me to, I can't not, but I just want to give her a little bit of credit tonight. And this whole cast, they've worked real hard to make this so we would understand from other people's perspective this side of the cross. Can we give her a hand tonight? Can we give this I'm going to pray for us, and the service will be over, but unless you need prayer or unless you want to stay and worship for a few moments, please don't forget to get a card on your way out for an invite. I promise you, Sunday is going to be an amazing day. And we're going to see God move in ways we've never seen Him move before. So don't forget to invite and tell the story. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for tonight. Jesus, we thank you for the cross. It cost us nothing, but it cost you everything. And so I pray tonight, God, that we would be burdened for souls this evening. Not just us here, but everyone that calls this church home, everyone that calls themselves a Christian in this region. We would be burdened not for a cause, but for souls. The cause. Because you came to seek and save those who are lost. And so I pray this evening as we step out of here in this somber tone, God, that you would just ignite our hearts and our spirits to want to see people come to you. And there's no better time than this weekend. And I just pray you empower us and you give us boldness, Lord, if we've never handed a card out before. Lord, that you would empower us to be able to do this. I thank you for those that participated tonight. I thank you for everyone that came in this evening. Lord, we can't say enough tonight how much we